And it leads me to a question. Will Caitlin Clark be the GOAT of women's college basketball? That is the big question, guys. Let me know. Let me know what y'all think about that answer. But while y'all talk about that in the chat, let's go through the scoring leaders. So the number one scoring threat ever in women's college basketball history was Kelsey Plum. We all remember how Kelsey Plum has totally like revolutionized the game of women's college basketball. Like Kelsey Plum, y'all, she was fire. She was fire when she played at Washington, and she picked Washington, and she could have went to any other school in the country, but she picked Washington, and she balled out for them. Never won an NCAA championship, but like in terms of numbers, Kelsey Plum put up numbers. Number two is Kelsey Mitchell. She played at Ohio State. Now she's with the Indiana Fever. Jackie Stiles with Missouri State. It's a blast from the past. At number four, we all remember how great Brittany Griner was when she played at Baylor. Patricia Hoskins at Mississippi Valley State with number five. Lori Bonman with Drake. Jerika Coley at FIU. Rachel Banham, which, y'all, when I was looking at this list, I was like, what? Rachel Banham is number 8? I guess maybe I just wasn't paying attention when Rachel Banham was at Minnesota, but I don't necessarily remember her being that huge of a scoring threat, but maybe I was just in a hole somewhere. I don't know. Ashley Jones at Iowa State. She was recently at Iowa State. Her sister actually plays on Iowa State now. So fun fact for y'all. Ashley Jones' sister plays for the team. Elena Deladon at number 10 at Delaware. I totally remember her time at Delaware. But then we have Maya Moore at UConn, Shamika Holtzclaw at Tennessee, Cheryl Miller at USC, and then we have Caitlin Clark at number 14. So yeah, guys, that's the list of women's college basketball scoring leaders. That's the list. And the question is, will Caitlin Clark be the GOAT when it's all said and done? Now, I will say, to answer my question that I've just asked you all, I will say that I think that Caitlin Clark, when she leaves college, will be the best women's college basketball shooter ever. I think when it all comes down to it, she will be the best when it comes to scoring, 100%. I am not completely. I don't think she'll leave as the GOAT of women's college basketball. No. If you're talking about the whole, if you're like her as a whole player, no, I don't think she'll be the GOAT. However, I think that she will go down as the best scorer in women's college basketball history. Though I will say, maybe if she stays another year at Iowa, maybe, maybe she'll eventually become the GOAT. But like, there are so many amazing players in college basketball history that it's tough for me to say that would be Caitlin Clark. I would say, if I truly had to say a GOAT of women's college basketball, I'd probably say Cheryl Miller. Yeah. I never actually watched Cheryl Miller play live when she was like in college. But from everything I've like read, from videos I've seen of Cheryl Miller, I would say her as probably the GOAT. I also would say for sure Candace Parker and Maya Moore. So I don't think Caitlin Clark eclipses them after this year, unless she does something crazy in the NCAA tournament and gets her team back to a national championship game. Then okay, maybe. But I would say, she's a great player. She will go down as the best as the best women's college basketball scorer. But in terms of the ultimate GOAT for women's college basketball, no. Maya Moore, Candace Parker, maybe Cheryl Miller would be in that list. All right, guys, let's look at what y'all got to say. Let's look. Kyra says cap. Kyra says cap. CJB Radio says, is Iowa deserving of their number 4 ranking? No, I don't think so. Kyra says, right now, maybe, but I have my eyes on Michaela Williams. Michaela Williams to go down as the GOAT for women's college basketball? We'll see. Shree says, I don't think Caitlin Clark will be the GOAT. CJB Radio says, do you think Caitlin all-around game puts her in the running for being the GOAT? I kind of just talked about it, but she will be the greatest scorer of all times. Maybe if she gets her team back to the NCAA championship game, because the thing is, the hard thing about it is that to really be the GOAT, you have to have some hardware. And yes, Caitlin Clark has a lot of individual hardware, but I think at some point you need to have some sort of team hardware as well. And so that's why it's tough for her to actually be the GOAT if Iowa never wins anything. Yeah. Tiger Kim. Oh, yes. Tiger Kim just said what I was thinking. Yes. Can be the GOAT with no rings and no defense. Though at times, Caitlin Clark does have defense at times. If you watched yesterday's Iowa State game, there was an instance, I believe it was in the fourth quarter, where Caitlin Clark actually had some great help defense that ended up getting Iowa with the steal. So, at times, Caitlin can play defense. It just depends on if she wants to play defense is the question. And I feel like a lot of times she doesn't necessarily want to play defense. Catherine talked about Mighty Molly. Yeah, Molly. Molly Davis is definitely fearless. Definitely fearless. Videos for Life says Rachel Banham tied the NCAA scoring record in a game with 60 versus Northwestern. So that is not shocking. That she is number 8. All right, CJB Radio says, who do you think is the GOAT? Maya Moore. It's I don't think it's one person necessarily. Maya Moore, Candace Parker, Cheryl Miller. Yeah, I would probably say those 3 are for sure in the running. Though my bias says Candace Parker, but I think those 3 for sure are should be at the tops of everybody's GOAT list for in my opinion, at least. Country says too many GOATs already. Bird, Tarazi, Maya Moore, Candace, and Asia Wilson. Videos Fly says Caitlin Clark isn't the GOAT because she doesn't play a lot of defense. Yeah, she doesn't. She can. It's just depends on if she wants to. G Bone says Caitlin Clark is too trigger happy for me. Yeah, she definitely is trigger happy sometimes. She definitely is trigger happy. Yeah. Marie says you have to have rings with those stats. Tyron says she's better than them. Who? Better than who? Tiger Kim says Stewie too. Yeah, Stewie was really good too. Yeah, she really was. Yeah. Nolan said they watched a documentary on Maya Moore on TSN last weekend, and it was really great. Oh, I should probably look that up. I don't think I've seen a Maya Moore documentary. Tyron says she has to win a championship for her to be the best. That's it feels like that's kind of how it is, Like when you talk about the best to ever do it, a lot of times, yes, it's individual stats, but you are also talking about what their teams accomplish, Michael Jordan. He won all those rings. That's why a lot of people consider. Yes, his individual talent was great, but also, having his team have success, that helps to bring you up to the level of possibly being considered a GOAT. I don't know. That kind of feels like the rules, not necessarily how it maybe should be, but I don't know. Kind of feels like the rules. Phyllis Wheatley says Holtzclaw, Tennessee, as the GOAT. Is that what you mean? Yeah. She needs she's a couple more points to pass Kelsey Plum. I think it's very possible that Caitlin Clark could possibly get that this year. Yeah, I think for the rest of the year, I think it's very possible that she will get that and surpass Kelsey Mitchell. Shree, me and Shree agree. Shree says my GOATs are Maya Moore, Candace Parker, and Cheryl Miller. Bear 24 says Caitlin Clark plays no defense. Basketball is two ends. Yes, facts. Nolan says on ESPN, Quita in the United States. You talking about the Maya Moore documentary? If so, thank you. I'll for sure to check that out. Shout out to Andre with the super sticker. The super sticker is a lemon character moving his head from left to right with his mouth wide open and red hearts in his eyes. Thank you, Andre. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Yeah. Yeah, guys. What do y'all think about my opinions about the GOAT? Yeah, that's why Michael's partially. Yeah. I mean, of course, individual talent, yes, 100%. But yeah, it's also because of the team success as well. D Barnes says, how many of those ahead of Caitlin on the scoring board are still active? None. Yeah, none. Caitlin Clark is the only active player that has surpassed 3,000 points. So yeah, in my book, she is not the GOAT yet. But Tyron says, so you are comparing a college player to a professional basketball player? No, what I'm saying is that GOAT, when people think about the GOAT for anything, this could be high school basketball, college basketball, professional basketball. It's a mix of individual talent and it's a mix of team success. The only reason I mentioned the only reason I mentioned Michael Jordan was because I feel like a lot of people probably know Michael Jordan. But yeah, it feels like that's how it is. It feels like how it is where when in order to get in the acknowledgement of being one of the greatest ever, you kind of need to have some sort of team success. Rightly or wrongly, it is what it is. I think if Caitlin Clark helps Iowa make it back to far in the NCAA championship, even if they don't win, I think then it's more of a conversation of is Caitlin Clark actually the GOAT? But she's for sure a darn talented player. Regardless of if she would be considered the GOAT or not, Caitlin Clark is one of the best to ever do it. Hands down, 100% in my opinion. She is one of the best to ever do it. Regardless of if she's the GOAT. So, those are my thoughts. Primp and Prime Hair Studio. Okay. I assume Primp and Prime does some hair. They say, I am not impressed because her teammates are always throwing her the ball. She should have 3,000 points, but congratulations. Yeah, I mean, yes, just because they keep giving her the ball doesn't mean she necessarily has to make the shot. Caitlin Caitlin Clark, the reason why her teammates give her the ball, because they know, one, that she's not afraid to take the shot, and two, they know the odds are that, she's probably going to be more successful at getting the ball in the bucket than they probably will be. So that's why she always has the ball. And even if she's not scoring, she gets a lot of assists. Videos for Life says, I mean, you can be the GOAT without rings, but you are an underrated star, not the most remembered star. And Shri says, if the team doesn't have success, then can you really be considered the GOAT? Yeah. So that's kind of tough. James says, Clark shoots more than the average college player on good teams. Yep. Yes. So here's the thing. They do, those other teams that you just named, James, yes, they don't have to have one player get 30 points every single night. But those teams have more talent on them. Iowa, the only reason people are talking about Iowa is because of Caitlin Clark. Otherwise, no one's talking about Iowa. She is the end all be all for this team. Even if she is not scoring the basket, it's her assists that she's getting. It's some of the hockey assists that she's getting. That aren't even counted. It's her rebounding. It's her ability to make her team to win. That's different than LSU, South Carolina, UCLA. Caitlin Clark cannot have a bad game and have Iowa still win. Anissa Moreau can have a bad game and LSU still win. Angel Reese can have a bad game and LSU still win. Pick a player like Raven Johnson, Camila Cardoso. They can have bad games and have their team still win. UCLA, they kind of got the three-headed monster, right? If Kiki, is not firing on all cylinders, there's Lauren Betts in the paint that will probably step up, So it's tough, It's tough for Iowa to make stuff happen without Caitlin Clark. So, also the same thing for Juju. Yes, James, I agree. Juju will score as much, that much. Yep, like Caitlin Clark. Yeah. But Juju is going to be getting some support at USC. So with some of the incoming recruits. So I don't think yes, this year, Juju is going to continue to have to kind of do everything in terms of the scoring wise for USC. But in the coming years, Southern California is getting some recruits in a way that Iowa will never get, because Iowa is in Iowa. People like SoCal, so they're going to get recruits, and going forward, she will not be like Caitlin Clark, in my opinion, because she won't have to be. Shri says, so when Clark finally leaves, will Iowa still be a prominent team? That's my question, because she will eventually leave to go to the league. When she leaves, I think Iowa will fade to the background. They will not be a prominent team. They, I think they could probably, be either 25th in the country or a little bit further out. They're not like the worst team in the world, but also they're definitely not anywhere close to stats. I mean to like top 10 at all. So yeah, they'll be pretty good though. All right. D Barnes says, right now it's the Caitlin Clark show in Iowa. Need better inside play and a second and third player. Yeah. It would have been great. It would have been amazing if Iowa was able to get a big in the transfer portal that could have kind of been a replacement for Monica Sanano. Like, yes, I like Hannah Stokey. I like her. But she is not Monica Sanano. She's just not. And so it would have been nice if they were able to get somebody else, you know, in the transfer portal. Yes, they got Molly Davis, and Molly Davis is great. But if they were able to get another post player, it would have been possible, I think, for them to be more rounded, I should say, more rounded of a team. Let's see. Country says, did you know that a clip of your commentary is on YouTube documentary on Pow Pow? Really? Country, let me know. Put the link in the chat. I'll put it on the live stream. I want to see that. Yeah, Country, please put that link in the chat. Thank you. Nolan says, just looking at Kelsey Mitchell's Ohio State stats, did they ever get close to a championship? I don't remember. I do not. I don't think so. But I really do not remember. I'm not sure. Does anyone else know the answer to Nolan's question? I don't think so. Also, just as an FYI, just for those of you curious, Caitlin Clark is she is the fastest. Actually, she is the fastest player to hit 3,000 points in NCAA history. So, Caitlin Clark did it in 110 games. She reached 3,000 points in 110 games. Elena Deladon reached 3,000 points in 113 games. So 3 more games than Caitlin Clark. And Kelsey Mitchell accomplished 3,000 points in 122 games. So, yeah, something to note. And Kelsey Plum hit 3,000 points in 123 games. So Caitlin Clark is the fastest. Michael, what up, Michael? Just joined the stream. Watched the 3,000 point game and seeing that Mark set was great. Much respect to Iowa State. Iowa State did play really good. Like I really, really thought that Iowa State would win that game. I really did, because it looked like they were going to win. And then all of a sudden, Kate Martin started to like make some really good cuts and get to the basket. And Caitlin Clark was actually able to get some help. So yeah, it really did look like they were gonna lose that one. But shout out to Iowa State though. Yeah, Iowa State, they're looking pretty good. I could totally see them upsetting a couple of teams in the future. Like they're pretty good.